That one stung a lot. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes Postgame Show. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah here with Craig and Petey, Danielle behind the scenes. Coyotes fall 3-1 to the Carolina Hurricanes to close out a 3-game road trip to head into the NHL All-Star break. There's a lot to talk about in this one.
But
Petey,
is there, though?
I'm going to throw it
is
to you.
there?
Well, there's a lot on a single subject, I guess.
There's a lot of subjects.
Connor Ingram. I feel so badly for Connor Ingram because
he deserved better.
He's the only reason they were in the game. They got outshot 41-12 tonight.
Wait till we get to the numbers, Craig. It's even worse than that. Like, where was their put? Like, you talk about pushback or energy, or
there was no pushback. You can't talk to me about pushback or effort or anything in that game. The only reason it wasn't embarrassing is because of Connor Ingram.
True.
12 shots, and you can say 3 and 4. Carolina played 3 and 4 too. I mean, I'm going to look at the score and say, oh, they had a much better effort. No, they didn't. They got embarrassed on the ice tonight. Their goaltender prevented it from looking embarrassing cosmetically.
Yeah, and they have 11 days off now. 11 days till their next game, and that was what you get for an effort. I'm stunned. And it's funny because I was saying early, like in the first period, I was even saying, hey, this is not a bad road game. Like it wasn't a bad road period for them, but you can't continue to just let your goalie hang out there to bail you out again and again and again and again. I mean, for 59 minutes, Connor Ingram was lights out. Like it was lights out for 59 minutes, and there's nothing he can do on that first power play goal. And this Coyote team generated no offense. I don't know if Antti ran this. He's probably already in his car on the way home. Like, why would he shower? What would the point be? They had one shot in the third period through what? Did they finish with one in the third? Yeah, one shot in the third period. One shots in the third period were 20-1. Yeah, you're not going to win hockey games. And here's the reality is that Carolina team is a really good hockey team. I get that. They're a good hockey team. The Coyote team, that's a tough one. That's tough when you know you need to have an effort tonight. And we talked about the leadership of this team. You got to go in that locker room and go, hey, we need to have one tonight, guys. It's got to be in this room. It's got to be somebody's got to do this for us tonight. There wasn't any, like, they get the first goal of the game, but really without Connor Ingram, like, what did they expect was going to happen? You can't win without shooting the puck. Like, I don't know. I don't know where the coaches are going to have this long plane ride home. I don't know what you say. I don't know what you do.
Are they even going to be flight? I mean, is everybody even going to flight? They might be going their separate ways.
This is tough. This is a tough one to swallow when you needed to see something on this road trip to say, hey, we're still scratching and clawing. We're still going to be around this playoff chase. We still want to be here. We still want to be a team that thinks they can make a playoff push. And then you come out with 3 performances like this. This is, and honestly, this game was right there for them. Like after 2 periods, it's 1-1. Like
from a point at least.
Yeah.
That was the part that hurt the most, was that I was thinking the fact that they're going to even get to overtime with this performance, Connor Ingram is stealing them a point, and then 35.9 seconds left, they give it up and then give up another. And at that point, and even with the 35.9, because sometimes you can say that's a lot of time, like not when they had 1 shot on goal in the third period and it came 19 minutes in, like it was over. And that was the most crushing part, was they were sniffing a point.
And this is where details matter, Leah. Yeah. This is where details matter. We're talking about young players in the game, and this is where they're going to learn things. And when you really go back and dissect what happened in that last minute, and it comes down with Michael Kessering has the puck on his stick with under a minute to go in the Coyotes zone. He's got the puck on his stick. He just needs to make a play. He's got to make a play. He's got to make a pass. He's got to put it out into the neutral zone. He's got to bang it off the glass. Whatever it is, he's under pressure, make a play, and he ices the puck. Now, what happens when you ice it? You got to face off in your D zone. You can't make a change. Who's on the ice? You got Gunther on the ice, Cooley on the ice, Kesselring on the ice. Not the 3 guys you want to have on the ice with 35 seconds left to go in a game, and they throw over the boards. You throw Aho and Natchez, and they won the draw. Like the Coyotes physically win the draw back, but they played it so horribly bad. Gunther doesn't pick his man off the face-off circle, so he gets in clean. He beats Kesselring to the puck, and now Carolina has possession. They go on to score on that play, and it's all because of young, youthful mistakes. Hopefully they learn from those, and you don't want to have those guys on the ice during those moments. And then to give up another goal 14 seconds later with some of your veterans on the ice is just inexcusable. You won that draw too. And you look at 15, Kerfoot wins the draw back between his feet off the draw. He does it, but there's no winger support. Craig and I talk about it all the time. You need 5 guys on the ice have to help support a face-off win.
Yeah, it's not all about the center. Every coach will tell you that a face-off win isn't just about the center. It's about what happens right after the face-off. And yeah, that was a glaring example of it. Defensive zone face-offs are so important, and we saw it right there.
Yeah, it was a tough night for them in the face-off circle, and we'll get to that soon.
Okay, well, unfortunately, let's take a look at the numbers presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes. Okay, Coyotes outshot 41-12. I'm just going to say that one more time. Coyotes outshot 41-12. Hurricanes 1 for 2 on the power play. Coyotes 0 for 1. Face-offs. Carolina 64%. Coyotes 36%. Shot attempts. Carolina 91. Arizona 29.
91.
91. Do you know on average, like a good night, you're getting around 60? On a good night, you're getting around 60.
Do you remember that game against New Jersey many years ago where there were like 96 shot attempts and I think they lost 2-1? How do you have 96
90?
96. Listen, Carolina has been known for a while as a shot volume team, which Andre Tourigny says the Coyotes are not. Clearly, they were not a shot volume team tonight, but that's a team that throws a lot of rubber on net. They have for a long time, but 96 is just shows you how one-sided this game is. I don't want to hear from anybody that they competed tonight. They had a much better effort in this game. The only reason it looks better cosmetically is because of their goaltender.
And, we try to find bright spots. And again, you go to the bright spot of the game, and it starts with Logan Cooley and Dylan Guenther team up again for another goal. And that's great. And Cooley's driving the net, and Guenther throws the puck. Almost the same goal they had earlier a couple nights ago. But that's not enough. I mean, where were Schmaltz and Keller? Where was
anyone?
Where's Michelli?
Where was anyone?
Where was anyone? And you look for those guys, and we talk about leadership. And this is one of those games where somebody's got to stand up and go, okay, I'm going to put the team on my back, whether that's with his performance or with his mouth. Like, get guys going, motivate guys, do something. Like, leading shots on goal for this team was Keller and Guenther with 2.
Yeah.
And it's not good enough.
I want to bring up something else. After the first loss of this road trip, we mentioned that, the news that broke and how hard that is to go into a game and block out something like that when you're hearing you might be leaving. and I still think it is for some guys. It certainly can have an impact when you're driving into Joe Louis Arena for a playoff game and you hear you're moving to Winnipeg. But it's also important to remember there are a bunch of guys on expiring contracts here, so they're not going to be back here next year anyway. So it may be we may be offering too much of an excuse in 3 games into the road trip. I don't buy it anymore. You're a professional hockey player. You got to come to play. And wow, what we saw tonight. Sorry, I'm just not going to buy any of the this was a better effort narratives. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, and you talk about that locker room and the rumors that they heard when they landed about Salt Lake City in the first game of this trip. That's 4 or 5 days ago, and by then you would have hoped they've heard something from management, Bill Armstrong, ownership. Somebody has said something to this team that helps dissuade some of those, the push of those rumors out of the locker room. And so I don't think
that they're professionals, right? And you still got to play. Yeah.
So I don't know if I buy that 5 days in. I don't. It's just disappointing because Carolina's a really good hockey team. Let's start with that. They defend extremely well. That's one of the hallmarks of this team is how well this team defends, and they showed it tonight. So let's give them kudos and credit for doing that. But then the Coyotes have to find a way. So you got to simplify your game. And I know they say that on TV, simplify the game. So what does it mean offensively? You get the pucks to your defenseman and they shoot the puck. Like you shoot the puck literally from anywhere once you get across that blue line. The problem for the Coyotes, they couldn't even get there. Like they couldn't get through the neutral zone. They just had literally nothing going offensively. This is one of their worst offensive games of the entire season. Like they couldn't make a pass. They couldn't talk about getting into the interior. Are you out of your mind? They couldn't get across the blue line. Like this was so disappointing that there was just nothing. There was no bite. There was no nothing. And here's one of those days where you go, gosh, maybe. And I'm all against fighting. You know what I've always said about this, but fight somebody, do something. Get some energy somewhere from this team. All you did is defend for 60 minutes. I don't know. I don't know. It's back to the drawing board over the next 11 days, and hopefully they can come in with a fresh perspective, because guess what? They play some really, 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 really good hockey teams. Carolina is good, but I mean, we've got Vegas coming in. We've got Colorado coming up here early in the second half. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know where this team is going to go. It's really frustrating, and maybe it is just going for the last 35 games. You just go, oh, it's okay. We're young, and we're going to get better, and everything's fine. And then we'll take a step forward from last year, because we really sucked last year. We really, really sucked the year before that, and this year we don't suck as much. And maybe that's a win. I don't know.
Oh boy, that's tragic.
You imagine that as a tagline? We don't suck as much.
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah. I mean, I guess like Petey, you said yesterday on the show, if they could win a game, it would be this one. It was winnable. And after the first period, they outshoot the Hurricanes. They get out of the first 10 minutes 0-0, which rarely happens with this team.
Right.
They end up leaving the period 1-0, which on a road game, you're thinking, okay, like this is it. And then in the second period, Carolina comes in strong. I mean, that was a crazy period, outshot the Coyotes 14-3. And that tends to happen, I feel like, when the Coyotes play really good teams. If they have a better first period, the team always comes back stronger. But still, they survived that horrible period, just 1-1. And the third period was just unacceptable. The last minute was unacceptable. And we've said it again and again and again, but the man who kept them in this one was Connor Ingram. And without a doubt, Connor Ingram has that desert dog in him. There was literally nobody else who it could have gone to. 38 saves tonight for Connor Ingram on 41 shots on goal. So, despite letting in 2 in the final minute, that was more of a reflection, I think, of his team. But he's the desert dog.
Yeah. He was the best player on the ice for the Coyotes. It wasn't even close. I thought that Cooley had glimpses. Cooley had the goal, and I thought there were a few offensive spurts. And when I say offensive spurts, he had the puck on his stick. I mean, that's how desperate we're getting for offensive kudos. He had the puck on his stick for longer than 30 seconds.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, let's not blow that up too much.
No.
I know he had a goal, but the puck went off his body. I mean, he went to the net, so give him credit for that. But it wasn't like it was any kind of incredible skill play. Nope. It was being in the right place at the right time.
Nope.
Well, this weekend can still be redeemed for people if they're looking to make a change with their bank, perhaps. If you open an account right now, Desert Financial Credit Union, our friend Vagoda in the Discord just opened one. He said he's learning all about the Craig Morgan secret club.
How about Vagoda? That's huge. Good for Vagoda.
I someday we'll get in the vault and we'll roll in gold together. It's something that I like to treat new members to occasionally.
Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona is a largest, most trusted credit union for more than 84 years. They offer checkings and savings account, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. Everything you can possibly ask for from a bank. And this is a great bonus because when you open a free checking account online, you get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. And that is a true story, as confirmed by Vagoda in our Discord today. He got the 200. So this isn't just us saying something. This is true. So if you've been looking for an opportunity to maybe you don't love your bank, you're looking for a new one, Desert Financial Credit Union, you won't be disappointed.
Yeah. And you know what else you won't be disappointed with, Leah? With the official beer sponsor of PHNX, and that's Four Peaks. Sports aren't the same without a Four Peaks in hand. Nothing better on a sunny winter day, which was today, than a cold Four Peaks Wild Wheat.
It was a beautiful day.
When the sun goes down.
Yeah. What are you drinking, Petey?
This would be a Kilt Lifter Amber Scottish Ale. With Four Peaks, it would be America's favorite brewery if you literally could get it everywhere, but it's Arizona's favorite brewery with the beer for any occasion or mood. Hop Knot, IPA, Hazy IPA, Peach, Golden Lager, the list goes on and on and on. Visit fourpeaks.com/locator to find all your favorite beers and events. Check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks. Please enjoy Four Peaks responsibly. I'm 21. I'm not driving. Thank you, Kilt Lifter. It helps get you through the game. And by the way, I wanted to do a game where I had a Kilt Lifter after every goal, but there wasn't enough scoring. So I just went ahead and I.
But if you did it after all the goals, you would have been drinking a lot in the final 30 seconds.
In the final minute. Yeah. But so I paced it out through the 3 periods.
Which I'm glad you didn't, because we needed you to send those numbers in.
Yes. So I got that.
Just tragic. Oh Lord. All right. Victor Soderstrom gets in the game tonight, his first game with the Coyotes this season. I know we pretty much just said nobody on the team was good except for Connor Ingram. But what did you guys think of Soda tonight?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he played 13 minutes. He's not a minus player. He banged a couple of pucks off the boards. I mean, I don't know. Like, how do you evaluate players in a game like this?
Here's to say, like, about Soda, and this has been my impression of him. I know he's playing well in the AHL. He got a lot of praise from the development staff for how he's made progress, but I just don't think he's a dynamic player. I wonder where he fits. I just wonder where he fits in this organization at his size, he's not, I think some people have this misconception that he's a great skater. He's not. He's an above average skater. He can move pucks. He might be able to run a second power play. I don't know. I need to see more from Victor. And tonight obviously is not a good judge of anything. It's one game, first of all. So give him some games. And I do think he's going to be back with the organization because he's an RFA and they don't have any defensemen under contract. So he's cost controlled. I think he'll be back, but just waiting for that. Wow, that's Victor Soderstrom moment. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah, and I think that's what you want to see from him by this time. It's been a while since his draft. Like, you definitely want to see him now being an everyday defenseman on this team. And again, it's just, you look for that wow factor. What does he bring that somebody else that isn't already on this roster bring? Is it his offensive upside and his skating? Well, no, they've got that in Dursey and Mosier. And is it his defending? Well, no, he doesn't do that exceptionally well either. So I think he's kind of a tweener. And I think that's kind of the problem for this organization. Where does he fit in that six? And right now, clearly he doesn't, otherwise he'd be in the roster. So he's going to still have to continue to find his way in what separates him from somebody else. And I don't know if he's found that yet. And you'd hope by now he would have, because you thought he'd be that offensive puck mover, and he's not. And so he was just okay. And that's fine for tonight and a one-game sample, but he's going to have to show something. If he wants to stay here and play more games at the end of the season, he's got to show something. You got to show, hey, I deserve to be here, and here's why. And I don't think he did that tonight.
And it's going to, in my opinion, it's going to have to be on the offensive side of the puck that he's going to really need to show something. Again, you mentioned they have Sean Dursey already, and we know the guys that are in their system, but we also know what Bill Armstrong likes, particularly on his blue line. He likes size. He likes reach. Yep. Soderstrom doesn't have that. So I still wonder about his future. I do think he'll be back next season. I don't think he's going to be signed to any kind of long-term contract in the off season, but I do wonder about his place in this organization, especially when you start looking at some of the prospects they have coming.
Yep.
Well, the Coyotes, somebody in the chat earlier had said that at least the Coyotes can't lose again in January, because it feels like they did a lot of losing this month. 3-9-1 is how they end the month of January. Don't play again until February 8th against the Vegas Golden Knights, as we've been saying. 11 days off here. And at this point on Saturday, January 27th, the Coyotes find themselves 5th in the wild card race with 49 points. Nashville and LA even with 53 points each, so 4 points out of that spot. But St. Louis has 2 games in hand on the Coyotes and have won 4 straight. So there's a handful of teams who have a few games yet to play. Some teams are going to play till Wednesday. The Coyotes, a lot of teams are done after today. Some teams will get the other half of the All-Star break off. This was a crucial month for the Coyotes if they wanted to, kind of establish their footing in this race in the West, which has just been neck and neck. You really can't afford to go on much of a skid like the Coyotes have. And 3 wins in the month of January is just not really acceptable or going to get it done.
Yeah, I want to go back to something that I said previously. And you mentioned that these teams are going to play more games, a bunch of the teams ahead of them. I mean, this could be a 6-8 point deficit for the wild card spot by the time the Coyotes get back on the ice to play the Vegas Golden Knights. We talked a lot about wanting them to play meaningful games. That was the goal at the start of the season for them. Again, I don't know, like, if you're 8 points out of the wild card spot when you come back from the All-Star break, I don't know if you've accomplished your goal. I think staying in it to the All-Star break was probably the goal, so that you could have that month before the trade deadline where you really are playing in meaningful games. You're getting a sense of your team. If they've fallen off the pace by then, I feel like I feel like they've almost fallen short of that goal a little bit.
You're muted, Petey.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing. I think the problem is how well they started this season. When you look at the first 40 games, I think they exceeded expectations, and they were doing so well that now the bar's been set. Like, you can beat teams, you can skate well, you should be winning hockey games, and for the last 15, that's really fallen off. And I think that's where the disappointment lies. Is we've seen this team beat good teams, you've seen this team compete, you've seen this team create offense, and they just haven't done it when it's starting to really ramp up. And I know teams, this is when good teams get better. And I think, out of the shoot, the first 20 games, people don't even know who's who in the first 20 games. And you go watch that year to year, you don't know who you are yet. You can look at Edmonton. First 20 games, they hadn't figured it out yet. So that's the disappointment, is this team that we thought, and includes all of us here, thought, oh my gosh, look at this team is better than we thought. I think this is probably who we thought in August. This is probably who we thought they were. Yeah, I think it's a tough uphill battle until the mathematics is there that you can't make it up into across the double line. Then you have to have hope. I think they have a really big uphill battle, because what's going to creep in now after losses like this, the room starts to get a little tense. Like the rallying and everybody coming to the rink with a smile and yay, we love everybody. That starts to fade when you lose a lot of hockey games, especially when you lose games like this. Then it becomes more finger pointing and more difficult. And that's my fear. The break might have come at a good time, because maybe they can get some of that back, but this could be a really tough go over the last 20, 30 games.
Yeah, and I'm reading the comments right now, people talking about the different sorts of losses, and we were saying too, like the 6-2 and 6-3 loss are frustrating because they're just such big deficits. And then tonight, okay, maybe it was a smaller deficit, but the way that they lost it, and when you look at the numbers in the game, it's horrible. And then Nick said, imagine if they didn't have a goalie standing on his head night after night. And I think that's kind of the common denominator of the season up until this point, is pretty much the nights that either Ingram mostly or Vejmelka are unreal, the Coyotes have a chance. And if they're average, like there's no chance. And that's unfortunate. I think it's a hard thing to come to terms with. And even though we're sitting here, saying the Coyotes are within shooting distance of a playoff spot, I don't know if they're a playoff team or deserve to make the playoffs at this point in where they are. And maybe that's okay. But I do agree with Craig's point about wanting to play meaningful games, and hopefully coming out of the All-Star break, PD, you mentioned this could come at a good time to just everybody walk away. Like, sometimes you just need a break from work and come back refreshed. And the good news is they'll have, for those guys who are maybe hurt a little bit, they can get some rest. And Barrett Hayton is slated to return after the All-Star break. And that has been a guy who has been missing significantly for a huge chunk of this season.
Yeah, he's still on track to be back. Matt Dumba, what I've heard is the plan is still that Matt Dumba will be back. So they should be returning to mostly a healthy team at that point. But again, like Petey mentioned as well, the games ramp up now. The good teams ramp up their play. They've got it figured out. So, I mean, we're going to know pretty quickly out of the break whether the Coyotes can somehow hang in around the fringes or if we're going to see Bill Armstrong selling off whatever he can at the trade deadline again, which comes one month return.
I want to say, Shelby, like, I don't think they're giving up. I don't see that. And I don't think they're a bunch of quitters. I don't see that's what's in their room. I need to see somebody lead this group. And I talk about Clayton Keller being a leader on this team. These are kind of games where you need to see your leaders step up and do something. And you can't force goals. I get that, but you need to make an unbelievable defensive play. You need to do something that binds people together and helps you get through these times. That's my concern, is I'm not sure where that's coming from going forward over these next few days. And to Craig's point, which is a great point, the trade deadline's coming in a month, and this team's not adding. We've said that from day one. This team isn't going to add unless there's somebody out there that really is going to be there for the long term in their 20s. And I just don't see that happening. This is going to be, what can they sell off? But unfortunately, They don't have Gostisbehere. They don't have Bjugstad leading the way like he did a year ago. He's been great for this team, but he's not a guy that they're going, oh, you're going to get a first or a second for Nick Bjugstad this year. You're not getting it for Jason Zucker. You're not getting it for Dumba. Like, I think the returns for the free agents that they were hoping to get maybe a second round pick, I don't think that's there right now. And so they're going to sell off, and they'll I know he'll take what he can get, but it's not what they were anticipating coming into the season. And this is going to get harder. And this is going to be for these last 30, 35 games. The goaltending is going to have to be elite, because right now they're showing they can't produce the offense that they produced earlier in the year, and they can't stop teams from exploiting their defense. So unfortunately, they're going to have to find a way, and that's going to have to start at the back end. And then somebody's going to have to jump out and be the offensive leader. And I don't know who that's going to be.
Harold said, question, please. Will Pack Therapy be available now? Pack Therapy is always here, Harold. We try to provide Pack Therapy for all losses and negative associated Coyotes events, of which there are a few a year. Well, the Coyotes are headed into the All-Star break. I'm sure a lot of guys are out of town, but maybe some guys decided to stay in the Valley. I mean, there are a few nicer places in the U.S. this time of year than Arizona, and may I recommend to those guys perhaps a little staycation action locally here at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, because what a place for a staycation. What a place for just a day, a weekend day. If you're looking, maybe you have some free nights next week because you're not watching hockey. Check out Gila River Resorts and Casinos. They have the casino floor, they have the sports books, the restaurants, the resorts, all of it. If you've never been to any Gila River Resorts and Casinos location, check it out. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathgila.com for more details.
And also, BetMGM is the official sports book of PHNX. And by the way, tonight before the game started, I hammered the BetMGM Sportsbook app. I had the U of A ASU basketball parlay where I picked U of A to win, ASU to lose. I went with Connor Ingram over 30 saves.
Easy money.
I picked the Toronto money line. It's that easy. It's that easy to play at Benji. About the fifth Four Peaks, another one of our great sponsors. The tongue starts to stumble here. BetMGM couldn't be easier. It's so easy. Even I can do it. Sports are more fun when you have some skin in the game. And tomorrow is the NFL Conference Championship Day. Get in now. Sign up for BetMGM. Use bonus code PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through BetMGM Sportsbook mobile application for at least $5. You will receive $158 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for full details. And now, listen to the disclaimer.
Problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369-New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms. This promotional offer is not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Okay, this has been very negative, so I'm going to try and bring the fun for like 5 minutes so we don't end on a very bad note. It's the All-Star break.
It is.
11 days off for the Coyotes. You are a mid-20s millionaire NHL player with 11 days off. What are you doing and where are you going?
Cabo.
That's so basic.
That's basic, Craig. It's your birthday weekend. Where are you going?
They go to Cabo. They like Cabo.
Okay, that's
Craig's
they.
birthday
I
weekend,
asked
he's going to Gilbert.
Yes.
Where am I going?
Yes.
I mean,
Bougie,
Shad.
What?
Just like saying it.
You know what I want to say, Craig? I want to go to Turks and Caicos. Don't know where it is. You point on a map. Where's Turks and Caicos? I have no idea, but I know cool people go there, so I'm gonna go there. Like, is it by Florida? Is it in Europe? I don't know where Turks and Caicos is. I don't know.
That's in the Caribbean. That's good enough. So
I literally don't know where it is. No clue. And I have a college degree, but I want to go there. Turks and Caicos.
Let's
it
go
doesn't
back
look
to
like
Melbourne.
it sounds, by the way.
Leah, let's go back to Melbourne.
That seems very far for 11 days.
But, you know, fly Qantas in your pajamas. It's not so bad.
I know where Leah's spending her All-Star break.
Working.
Lucky her.
Well, that wasn't part of the hypothetical. I
Okay.
would go maybe Hawaii. From Arizona, it's not too bad to get there. But I'm also with you on the Caribbean, even though it's like today was a beautiful day in Phoenix. It's been chilly here. It's been rainy a lot. It would be nice to be somewhere that was like 100% warm, like the crystal blue water. Yeah, the Caribbean sounds nice right now.
Okay, do you really want to know? This is like the hypothetical has been fun and all.
Oh, you would just sit in your
where would I
house.
go? Where would I go if I had 5 days off?
You would go to Safeway and your house.
Yes, clearly I would not leave home. I've been on that plane flying home from the All-Star break, and I didn't leave home for 3 days. By the way, these guys will be back on the ice on Sunday, so it's not like it's not 11 days. You have 11 days till the next game, but they're going to play on. They'll be on the ice Sunday after the All-Star game, and that's not going to be a whole lot of fun either. Except that Clayton Keller will get an extra day or two. But
yeah, they'll get 4 days of practice. So
yeah, I would imagine, like to Craig's point, most of the guys will go to Cabo. And a lot of guys used to go to Vegas, but now that Vegas is part of the NHL tour, that it's no longer the destination. I think now you get it 2 or 3 or 4 times a year anyway, playing the Golden Knights. So I would guess there's a lot of guys going to Cabo. Well, another place I've never been or will ever be. So it's too far.
Petey and Cabo, like if that ever happened, we would need cameras on you at all times.
It's not gonna happen. It just isn't. Like I'm not. Like I don't know where people expect me to go.
No?
I don't know.
You wouldn't put on a Speedo like Biz?
Nope. I might put a Speedo on. That's a different story. Like, buddy, I don't have a pool, but if I had one, come to
not
a pool
on
party.
video of that ever. Nope.
That's
Nope.
it's not
Nope.
good. But yeah, I don't know. I'm so much about like chilling at home. Love chilling at home. Love it. I had a wonderful day today in this beautiful sunny day. Loved it. Didn't leave the house. Couldn't have been better. Couldn't have been happier. So no, I'm not going anywhere. Cheers.
Alrighty, let's take a look at the punch card, which is not looking great. This is the first time this season that the Coyotes have lost 3 in a row to start a line of the punch card, and I don't really like how the pattern is trending. You know, like you look at the line above it, it was lose, lose, win. This was lose, lose, lose. What's the next line going to be? Lose, 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 lose. I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see. But yeah, this is where we are heading into.
It's only the third time they've lost 3 games in a row all season.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And that, I guess that's another step forward you can talk about in the rebuild. That's another thing that they've done well, as they haven't gone into those slides that we've seen before. You know, over the last 2 years of PHNX, you've seen those 6, 7, 8 game losing streaks. You go, oh my God. Unfortunately, this could turn into that. And somebody's going to have to stop the bleeding. And again, it's more self-inflicted stuff. You talk about the icing call that leads to a face-off loss, that leads to the loss of the game. And that's where the details matter. I know it's like, oh, it's icing. It's no big deal. Oh, it is a big deal. Because it puts your team at a defensive zone faceoff with under a minute to go with the wrong personnel on the ice. You lose. That's what lost the game. And so it is those little mistakes. This team cannot make any errors at all, especially when they're not going to provide any offense.
Any other thoughts before we wrap up?
We're done already?
Well, I don't really think there's anything left to say.
I don't know.
There really isn't. Again, it's a tough way to go into the All-Star break. You don't want to be on a 3-game losing streak and play poorly in those 3 games on the road. And again, we're watching those other teams. They have games to play before the break. It's not going to be a 4-point deficit when they come back.
It's going to be bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you look Connor Ingram in the face on the plane?
Ugh.
Like, how do you go, hey, thanks, buddy, for putting out a 41 save effort, and we did shit for you. Like, I don't know. That's the hard part for me. Like, how do you look him in the locker room? And they've got to be better for him.
Yep.
And that's where the disappointment comes in. They're going to have to really take a close look in the mirror. And I tell you what, when they get back home for those practices, and we've been at the ice den when they've had those kind of practices, I would imagine they're going to be back to work. Like this is not going to be next Sunday when they get back on the ice, and whether it's Sunday or Monday, we'll check the schedule. But it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be, hey, let's play games out there. It's going to be tough. Like they're going to get whipped back into shape in a big hurry, and it's a frustrating way to go into the break. And it was so close. Even if they come with a point after getting outshot 41-10, you go, oh, okay, they got a point, and you could have something from it. But this really sucks.
Yeah, I feel like this is a challenge for the coaching staff too. And we've talked about this before, how, it was the honeymoon phase for Andre Tourigny in his first 2 seasons, but he's got to get something from this team when they come out of the All-Star break. He's got to get a response.
Yeah, and that's where we've said this before about Andre. Like when there was no expectations the first 2 years, yeah, it's easy to make everybody come happy to the rink then because you're getting last. I don't know how many guys are coming back to the room happy on Sunday. I don't see the smiles on the faces, and we all love it here, kumbaya hockey, like we talked about a year ago, because the expectations have changed and things are different, and this team now needs to expect to win. And they can't win them all, but you've got a one of those things that Andre said: if we're not going to win, you got to compete. And I don't know if this team has been hard to play against. Not on this road trip, they weren't. Not on the last homestand where they went 1-4. They weren't hard to play against. Like you got to earn your wins against the Coyotes. That's the way it should be. You've got to know you played a good team and you snuck out of there and you're physically beat up. It was a hard game. They're not playing like that. They're not. It's easy. It's easy. Come in, if you play 60 minutes against the Coyotes, you're going to win. Play your style, stick to your system, don't make mistakes, and play for 60 minutes. You'll beat the Coyotes. That's what I'm telling my team if I'm in the coach's room. Stick to the game plan. We'll eventually break that goaltender down, and we're going to win this hockey game. But we just have to play 60 minutes and we'll win. And that's what you're seeing. So, yeah, you're right, Craig. This is going to be interesting to see how they go back to the drawing board over the next few days. And we'll see. And you'll see the upcoming schedule. It ain't easy.
Well, hopefully this break is a good reset for everybody. Everybody can walk away and mentally refresh and physically rest and come back ready for a big push. We've seen this Coyotes team, not this Coyotes team, but the Coyotes have a big February before and propel them into a run. So never say never. But at this point in time, it just feels very bummer.
Yeah, they got to get on a streak like Edmonton. They got to do that. It doesn't have to be 15.
16 straight, about to tie the record.
It doesn't have to be that, but you got to put a string 3, 4, 5. You put 3, 4, 5 together, then you're back in it. But to get 3, 4, 5, you got to get one. And that's been the difficulty for this team right now. They got to get that first one. When this starts up again, and we're back in 11 days for the next game, they have to start putting points on the board. That's it. Or we're going to be talking about draft picks again. We might as well start our coverage of the draft right now, because I think that's where this is going to go here. If they drop a couple more, we might as well start going who are the top 15 in the draft.
Yeah. A couple things I wanted to address that are a little off topic. Sorry to bring up the arena again, but a few people have noted, that when I tweeted, I don't know where this narrative is coming from, that the All-Star break is the deadline for the Coyotes to make an arena announcement. I probably should have worded that better. Because clearly we were talking about the All-Star break at one point. We were talking about it at the draft when Gary Bettman and Javier Gutierrez said it, and we were talking about it a little bit after that. My frustration, I guess, was that we've been reporting for I don't know how long now that it's Q1, right? It's the end of Q1 is the deadline that we've heard. Like I said to you guys in a text message, we could probably do a mashup of all the times we've talked about Q1 on our shows. It's happened like at least a dozen times. So it's not like it was a surprise. Like I said, I wish I had worded that better, but that's where it's coming from. Are you paying attention? Like if you're paying attention to this story and not just dropping in once in a while, you would have known that it was Q1 and not the All-Star break. And then the other thing I want to mention, we got some fun guests coming up, and I hope you guys don't mind me saying it, but one of those guests is related to the topic that I was just talking about. You guys are going to be on your own on Monday. That's my birthday. You're going to have the What Chaos guys, and I have no idea what you have planned. And quite frankly, I don't care because it's my birthday.
I don't plan shit. So good luck, Leah.
Yeah.
Hope you have a show for us.
But I should have just said, yeah, Leah.
Happy birthday, Craig. By the way, we unfortunately won't be in the studio, so I can't bake a cake because I would have loved to have made you. Nah, I wasn't making a cake. I wasn't going to make you a cake. So. Heidi asked me yesterday. I said it was Craig's birthday. She goes, "Do we need to make a cake?" I said, "No." I'm like, "No, we don't need."
Hey, you gave me the pan back clean. We didn't even have to wash it ourselves. So
I know. And Leah's talking like we could hear her, but we can't. So
you buy a grocery store one and then you take it out of the plastic and you put it on like a platter and you say you made it.
Leah, I'm ahead of you. We'll see what happens on Tuesday. We'll see what happens Tuesday if we go to a studio.
So Tuesday, by the way, Elliot Friedman will join the podcast. Petey and me, because Leah will be heading to Toronto. Are you heading that day to Toronto?
Yes, I fly to.
Is that his first time
on dreaded Air Canada?
Elliot on, which is interesting to me.
Did you?
We've had Jeff Merritt.
We haven't had Elliot on, have we?
No, we have not.
This is his first appearance. One of the, not the Bob father. So he's not the Bob father, but he's a kind of a big deal in Canada. You might have heard of Elliot Friedman.
I feel like we should probably come up with that before because the father is it. So Elliot probably deserves a nickname at this point.
We'll come up with one. I have no problem doing that. And you know who's not going to be there when Elliot Friedman's there?
Leah.
Merrill.
Yeah.
I feel there's a shade of disappointment.
Flying dreaded Air Canada.
Well, technically, you might still be in Arizona.
Leah may still be in the Valley, actually.
Exactly.
Show.
Maybe still in the Valley. Elliot Friedman on Tuesday. That's fire. Yep. What chaos on Monday? Yep. On Craig's birthday. Elliot Friedman on Tuesday. Yep. Is there more?
On Wednesday. And I'm not going to tell you why this first guest is going to be in studio, because we're going to tell you about that. Dave Tippett will be in studio on Wednesday. And I'm not going to tell you why. You'll find out the following week why Dave Tippett was in. Actually, you'll start seeing some promos, and you'll understand why later in the week. But Dave Tippett's going to be in studio on Wednesday, and also in studio on, well, actually not sure yet if he's going to be in studio or calling in.
But on the show on Wednesday.
He will be on the show.
Won't be on the show. Let's clarify that. Dave Tippett will not be on this show.
Nope.
The Coyotes podcast. But he'll be in studio Wednesday, but it won't be on this show. Someone else will be on this show on Wednesday.
Former Coyote Dallas Drake is going to join us.
And for those of you that don't know Dallas Drake, and you have to go way back to the America West Arena days, back when this team was talking at Roanoke, Dallas Drake was an absolute beast. Like, but this dude, like, if he's on the ice, you better have your head up, and you better be looking, because he's coming. And he'd walk that fine line we talked about with O'Brien. Man, except he was a really, really good hockey player too. So Dallas Drake I wonder if Dallas Drake could survive in today's game. I don't know. We'll ask him.
Yeah, be a good question for him. So
I'm excited about that
next week. Not Leah leaving, of course, because that'll be, you talk about what chaos. It will be a chaos without Leah in the studio, but we'll try and
do this.
Yeah.
Are we? By the way, is there any update? I read the update from our GM Saul Bookman that there is a rumor that we may be back in studio next week. That it could happen.
It could
happen.
Is that
true, Leah?
It could happen.
It could happen.
It could happen.
Let's just work from home on Monday, Leah. Can we do that?
Everybody,
can we set that agenda?
Everybody just pray for our building's electricity. That's all I gotta say.
We do need to be in studio for all that stuff, because that's some really good stuff.
And that will be Monday through Friday, live at 2 p.m. on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel, or later on your favorite audio platform. And don't forget about our weekly audio only episodes. You have to be subscribed to our podcast to get those. Free to subscribe to the podcast, so make sure you do that wherever you listen to the show, and make sure you're subscribed to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel so you never miss when we go live, and you never miss any of the extra content as well, including what Craig was just alluding to about Dave Tippett. More to come on that. So a lot of exciting stuff ahead. Just to end on a positive note, I checked in on the Tucson Roadrunners. They're currently up 3-1 on Ontario in the second period, and with a win tonight would regain the lead of the Pacific Division in the AHL. So even though it's been a tough go for the Coyotes here, things are going well in Tucson, and they look in good shape to make the playoffs. So hopefully there'll be one playoff team in this organization that we can follow, if not two, this off season come April. So we shall see. Anything else, you guys? All right.
That's it for me.
Let's get out of here. It's been a blast. Everybody has it? I don't know. Hit the thumbs up button on this video before you head out. And by the way, become a diehard. There's so many perks to being a diehard. Craig did a Q&A, a live Q&A during the first period. We do interactive Q&As every single week in Discord. So if you're a diehard not in Discord, make sure you get into the Discord. We also have weekly diehard only content. Craig has diehard only articles. PD does PD's Puck Talks for diehards only. You get 20% off merch, 20% off on events as well. Just a ton of great perks to becoming a diehard. So, and the diehard blog, which I will be utilizing when I'm in Toronto next week for the
mailbag coming next week. By the way, mailbag coming next week.
So. Cool. So that's it from us. Last post-game show for about 12 days. So we all can, wow. You were ready.
I know. I'm pretty excited about that, actually.
Yay! Oh, man.
At 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, boy. All right. And everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Craig, happy early birthday. Enjoy your day off on Monday.
Petey, if you're scheduling the gift delivery, I should probably send you the hours that I'm going to be home. So, okay. I know you got something big planned for me, so.
I can't. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter at Craig S. Morgan, at SPeeders Hockey, at Leah Merrill, at Abraca Danielle, and you can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody, and we will see everybody on Monday.
We all silly. like the mayor.